Hello and welcome to a special Christmas Eve edition short video on the Hispanic Patriot podcast. I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. Hope that you're spending time with family and loved ones and enjoying friends. Hope you got your Christmas shopping done. Uh, I finished mine about 2 hours ago. Anyway, this is such a glorious time of year. Um, we wanted to deliver a Christmas message to you today. We're taking a break from all the news and events and things of that nature. This is a very blessed event, and we're going to be sharing a little bit about Christmas around the world. We thought that might be a little fun to basically see how other people around the world enjoy Christmas. So, Christmas is one of the most globally celebrated holidays in the world, but not everybody celebrates the same way or even on the same day. Beyond the familiar traditions like Santa Claus, a fir tree, caroling, and gift giving, a number of countries, including the U.S., bring their own unique twists to the holiday, and that's okay. We know that the traditions can vary around the globe. I'm from Peru, and in Peru, for example, we gather on Christmas Eve at midnight and have a meal, and presents are opened on Christmas Eve after midnight, and then you don't have to get up early in the morning on Christmas Day. But that's how it's celebrated down there. And then later, on Christmas Day, there's another family dinner, and the the way that things are uh, moving along, it just goes with the flow on that day. So that's kind of how things are done down in Peru. There are some other traditions around the world, though. For example, in Australia, obviously they're down in the summer southern hemisphere, so it just uh, you know it's summer, so people go to the beach. It's kind of casual. Everyone's in a good mood, and some of the popular Christmas Day activities include swimming, backyard barbecues, and walks in the park. That's So it's kind of casual and nonchalant down there in the land down under. Um, so the um, the one that really kind of is interesting to me is Austria. Austria is a very traditional place. I've been there. Holiday friend Krampus um, has gained notoriety in the U.S. Thanks to some of the pop culture and the malevolent, what they call the malevolent half goat, half man, anti Santa, traces back to folklore from Austria's Alpine region. Krampus actually predates Christmas. It is of a pagan origin, but according to history, appearing in early celebrations of the winter solstice. But since then, he has become a Christmas icon, and it's a um, it's kind of an interesting setup of what takes place. And speaking of Krampus, somebody just joined us.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late here. I just need to get the proper headwear, which won't fit over my headphones, but that's okay.
His goats, his
Hello,
goat.
everybody. Merry Christmas.
What are you wearing?
It's supposed to be a Santa hat, but unfortunately, both my hair and my headphones will not allow such a thing. It liked the Scrooge hat better.
Uh, I put mine on, then the headphones.
That probably
Um,
would have been better.
so
But
we were
yes,
talking.
hello everybody. Merry Christmas. We are very happy to see you today on this most holy and wonderful of days.
So what we're talking about here is I started talking about traditions around the world, and I was just talking about Austria, where Krampus is is kind of a thing over there, and the fact that Krampus actually predates Christmas,
It's true. It's
um,
very true.
and so he's become a sort of a Christmas icon, accompanying the nicer Saint Nicholas, adorned with horns, a lizard-like tail, and a hideous black tongue.
I assure all the audience out there, I take much more from my namesake and not what we're talking about here, you know? So we're talking about my mortal enemy here then. Look at that.
So,
Uh,
so Krampus makes it his business to scare the living daylights out of children.
yep.
That's his. That's his contribution to Christmas.
Oh, and they go
So,
all out. Have you ever seen these things in Europe where they just
oh yeah,
dress up and they go crazy? If anybody out there, y'all want to Google that this Christmas season, it'll make you appreciate your American Christmas traditions.
yeah. Go on YouTube. You'll find some interesting videos on there about different celebrations. But in 1953, Time reported that adding uh, at the head of Vienna's kindergarten system tried to discourage the tradition out of concern that he'd scar young minds. But but in Austria and parts of Germany, adults dressing as demonic creatures on December 5th or 6th, which is called Krampusnacht, to quiz children over their naughty behavior and frighten them, as well as Krampuslaughs or Krampus runs, in which drunken adults dressed as Krampus run through the streets, and which isn't tied to a specific day according to history. It remains very much alive. So that's kind of how they do it over there in Austria and parts of Germany.
And the Netherlands and Scandinavia and all these places. No, they people have to understand Christmas did not used to be a sort of private with your family get together. It used to be in the streets. It used to be rowdy. There used to be laws against Christmas. There used to be actual wars against Christmas because people would just go way too ham with it and cause damages and stuff. So it's a history of Christmas. It's very much a history of freedom in a lot of ways.
Yep. So in Belarus, it's it's kind of a influenced by pagan traditions. Christmas celebrations in Belarus blend Christian customs with elements of folk rituals. The National Tourism Agency says, noting that most celebrations take place in January, in line with Orthodox Christian practices, though December 25th is also a public holiday. For Belarusians, basically, Christmas is an occasion to gather with family and remember Christmas traditions passed down through generations. Some traditions, like a Christmas feast and caroling, mirror those in other countries, but several Belarusian Christmas rituals and superstitions stand out, according to the tourism agency, such as in customary house visits, a man should enter first, not a woman. So the homeowners will have a prosperous year. Melting wax and water to see the face of a future groom, and tying the legs of the dining table with a rope to protect the house from misfortunes. Interesting stuff, you know. You just don't know unless you go to other places how things are portrayed.
No, it's very true. But Hugo, we're very lucky here in Denver, though, because we do have a lot of different cultures from all over the world. We've got German markets, we've got Ukrainian Christmas markets, we've got all kinds of Central, Eastern European kinds of everything. And it's amazing to see the continuity of our Christian faith, honestly, that no matter what country Christ's, the people give their heart to Christ in any country, it creates something so unique and different, no matter where it comes from. So, this is such an important holiday. This is honestly what I don't know about you, Hugo, but when I was a kid, Christmas was my favorite holiday, besides Halloween. That was a very close second.
Well, definitely, Christmas is definitely my favorite holiday. It's my favorite time of the year. It's it's just for me. There's no feeling like Christmas, and it dates back to when I was a kid. I mean, I was definitely into looking for Santa. I would sneak out of my room and kind of position myself near the tree and strategically try to see if I could catch him. And almost every time, my mom would catch me and drag me back to bed. My mom was pretty sharp. You couldn't get a lot by her. Um, in Catalonia, let's talk about Catalonia. This is an interesting one. It's an autonomous Spanish community of Catalonia. A lot of people don't understand uh, how Spain is broken up, but in Catalonia is the pesebre, or the nativity scene, would feature all the usual characters with one addition: a person wearing a traditional red-colored baratina hat who is called el caganer, or the pooper. And in the scene, they're doing just that. It's unclear why, but the Barcelona City Council says the caganer has existed since the late 17th and early 18th centuries, during the Baroque period, when realism was a key element in art. And today, figurines of celebrities pooping have become a popular tourism trinket. Poop, poop also seems to be a recurring holiday theme in Catalonia. For example, the Tío de Nadal, or Caga Tío, Christmas log or pooping log, is a chunk of wood with a painted face and a baratina that can be found in supermarkets across the region in December. It is traditionally fed and covered with a blanket for weeks, so that come Christmas Eve or Christmas morning, when children batter in with their stick and sing it in song, it poops out candles.
I'm sure a lot of people in Madrid get a real kick out of all the traditions in Catalonia, man.
Oh my goodness. So Catalonia's tourism board says the log symbolizes the spirit of the forest, as well as protection and fertility, and helps to teach children patience.
Well, so let me get this straight. You use a Christmas log to teach children patience in Catalonia, but you use a giant drunk guy with a monster costume to teach children in Central Europe. Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
That's basically to scare the crap out of children.
So if you all ever wonder why European kids are so well behaved, it's because they have the daylight scared out of them the entire time when they're kids. Whether it's with Christmas logs or Krampus, they don't know what they're gonna get under the tree.
Yep, that's right. So let's see what else we got here. Let's see what they do in Denmark.
Oh, Gdansk.
Denmark
Gdansk do.
families do rock around the Christmas tree. It's a tradition in Danish houses to dance around the Christmas tree holding hands as a family while you sing Christmas songs before you start opening presents. According to the Visit Denmark agency, and that tree is typically adorned with real candles, according to Atlas Obscura. Also on Christmas Eve, some families believe in appeasing the Nizer, barn dwelling house elves that are said to help residents survive tough winters, and many children continue to leave a bowl of Risengrad, or sweet porridge, for the folkloric creatures. But the general festivities begin a lot earlier than December 24th. According to Visit Denmark, or J Day, a holiday manufactured in 1990 by the Danish beer company Tuborg, marks the beginning of the holiday season for the first Friday of November. Some Danish will also count down to Christmas by burning a large Kalenderlis candle each day of December. So it's kind of a takeoff from Advent in
Very much
church.
so, yeah.
We have the four candles for Advent in church, and so that's kind of a takeoff from that.
Very
But
much so. I like
that
the I honestly like the holiday made up by the beer commercial or the beer company. That was kind of funny to me. It kind of reminded me of Cinco de Cuatro from Arrested Development a little bit. It's always fun when seemingly innocuous traditions get made up and they just get embraced by a people and just they make it their own. That's very interesting. Denmark is actually one of the happiest places on earth, according to studies.
Yep, that's what they say. But
I've never been there, so I can't tell you.
I've been there, and I can tell you the people there are not that friendly.
They're happy on the inside. They tell other
Yeah,
people they're happy. Whether they feel happy themselves, that's a different question.
yeah, they're a little bit snobbish, if you ask me. They're a bit snobbish when we went and what we experienced, and like if they know you're American, they kind of look down their noses at you. And
Oh
you know,
no.
oh yeah, I experienced it in Germany too, but certain parts of Germany. Not interestingly, in Germany, for example, the metropolitan areas are where you have more of the more current Germans that kind of snobbish and all. But if you go out into the countryside and meet people there, we stayed in bed and breakfast throughout the countryside, and they were the most fantastic people we had ever met. They were very welcoming. They loved Americans. They understood the relationship between Americans and Germans coming out of World War II. I had an interesting conversation with one of the owners of the bed and breakfast, and she explained to me that one of the reasons they love Americans so much is because they were not part of the Nazi movement. They were anti-Nazi, but of course, for various reasons, could not speak out against the Nazi regime for fear of their lives. But they said that they celebrated when the Americans liberated Berlin and came in and liberated all the concentration camps and everything. And so they have a great affinity for Americans, and they're not of the mindset that kind of looks down on Americans. They welcome, they love, they they market to Americans to come and stay in their places. They're just it's a whole different dichotomy between the countryside and some of the main metropolitan areas.
That's
I know,
really pronounced in Europe, honestly. Very, very pronounced, and in America too. This is a constant divide everywhere. Hugo, I think actually we have a lot of German speakers in Colorado Springs. A lot of people from Germany, and my mom's family originally is from Germany in the east by Prussia, where Poland, Germany is. And yeah, I actually really enjoy that you brought that up because it's something that I've heard a lot of from my friends who go to Europe, and it's something that I really appreciate, the relationship between Germany and America. It was interesting that you know they saw the Americans and they realized now the Russians won't come here because the Russians were doing far worse things. Our boys over there were doing very good keeping the laws of war, whereas the Russians were killing and brutalizing millions of people. So they really felt that they were saved by America. So you know what, our government fell and now our new system that we have here doesn't want to kill us or enslave us. They want to help liberate us.
yep,
That's a new feeling. That's an extremely new feeling.
yep,
So, Germans and Americans very close. Actually, the most ethnicity in America of white Americans, Europeans in America is actually German.
yep,
It's interesting how we started off as a British country, ended up as a German country, and now uh, closing on Hispanic country. It's interesting how America has changed over the years, but it always stays the same somehow.
yep. And then there's France. France
France.
basically um, kind of in the same boat in the sense that America liberated France on D-Day and marched into Paris, and the French were very accommodating, but it's the same mentality that exists in France. For example, in Paris, the French are very arrogant, very snooty, and
Famously so.
you go into the countryside and you go into the smaller towns and places like where Normandy was, and the French are extremely lovable to Americans because of what America did for them in World War II. And so again, a huge dichotomy, and the older generations appreciate more than some of the younger generation, but it's kind of the same mentality. For example, for Christmas in France, many places Christmas festivities culminate on January 6th, the Epiphany, which celebrates the three magi's visit to baby Jesus.
That's beautiful.
To and I mean that's the tradition in my home. A
Absolutely.
lot of people, I have arguments with people on Facebook a lot because
He
I
really does, folks. I can attest to this.
I see people taking down all their stuff on December 26th,
No.
and I'm telling them,
No.
I said no, Christmas doesn't end until January 6th,
Yeah, it
which
begins at Christmas, not ends. It's not
exactly,
one and done.
yep. But that's how some people are, and it just uh, boils my blood to see it.
Does 12 days of Christmas mean nothing to you people?
Hmm. Yep,
But one thing I want to say, Hugo, real quick, is about that war love, that understanding. Hey, this other country is really helping us, and we have a close connection to them. I see that a lot when I speak to Ukrainians. Honestly, as a huge appreciation for America, huge appreciation for American culture, and it makes me wonder. Was that ubiquitous right after World War II in France and Germany, and it's interesting how people forget, but we
yep.
can't forget. We can't forget, and we especially can't forget this Christmas season, what it's all about, because we really, Hugo, we dodged a massive Kamala shaped bullet this November that we're celebrating this December, having a nice time.
Kamala is our Krampus.
Kamala the Krampus. And if you all want to see me play around with Kamala on a desert island and Tropico 5, please let me know in the comments. I know you guys really enjoyed those videos. We got thousands of views on it. So let's see if we want to see that again, because she's not going to be relevant much longer after January 20th.
Yep.
But no need to talk about that Krampus right here. We have plenty
Nah.
of other Krampuses to get to before we.
So let's jump over to Greenland,
Greenland.
Greenland has been in the news lately, and President-elect Trump has actually come out and said that we should uh, buy Greenland for strategic purposes,
Not the first time an American president has suggested so, actually.
and according to the, I don't know, was it Prime Minister or President Greenland?
Prime Minister, yep.
He said Greenland is not for sale, and to which I say everything is for sale for the right price.
Exactly.
So, but Christmas in Greenland always starts with a beloved tradition. In every home in the entire country, they light an orange Christmas star that shines beautifully from the windows.
No.
According to the travel agency, Greenland Travel, a typical Christmas star is folded in paper. It is orange and yellow and beams in the most beautiful golden and orange glow. The Christmas festivities kick off on the last working day before Advent Sunday, when Christmas stars are lit in the windows of all the town's workplaces. On Advent Sunday itself, families put up their own Christmas decorations, including lighting their Christmas stars. The museum adds traditionally December 24th is dedicated to children, December 25th, the main day of Christmas, to adults and the elderly, and December 26th to young people, with the Christmas season ending and decorations coming down on the Epiphany, which is January 6th. And food is also an important part of the holiday, and the traditional Greenland Christmas dinner features some meats that may seem unusual to the rest of the world, including matak, which is made of whale skin and blubber, kiviak, which is little ox fermented in seal carcass, and runaway Rudolph, tutu, reindeer meat. And I was watching, oh, well, I can't remember. I was watching a movie here the last couple of days, and in the movie, the one person offers Santa some venison, and Santa looks, oh, I can't, I couldn't.
It's a little bit too close to home for me, you know.
Yeah,
But if you're living in Greenland, anything's a meal, right? I mean, that was one of the first problems they ever had settling Greenland was, man, there's not a lot of food over here. They called it Greenland. I'm starting to think this was a marketing ploy. I don't know why I
yeah.
gave a gruff accent to maybe a Viking kind of accent. But yeah,
Well,
and
we're going to
also
be
we
talking
also
more about Greenland in the coming weeks, and as well as some other topics, but we'll
yes.
deal with that later.
But shout out to all the servicemen that are stationed over in Greenland, folks.
Yep. Let's go to Guatemala. Guatemala.
Guatemala.
Guatemala.
Guatemala.
The start of Christmas in Guatemala basically is marked by La Quema del Diablo, or the burning of the devil, on December 7th, the eve of the feast of the Immaculate Conception, Guatemala City's patron saint. At exactly 6 p.m. that day, according to National Geographic, Guatemalans burned devil effigies as well um, uh, other items they want to dispose of as part of a larger spiritual cleansing. Though the pyromaniac's dream event has been criticized for causing pollution, and the country's Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources has pushed for greener alternative celebrations. There's always
Bunch,
somebody,
bunch of
bah
stupid,
humbug.
humbug, those people, right? It's like, well, what's a little bit of burning, paper compared to, the devil still being here? You know what I mean? That's going to
That's
be
right.
way worse than a little smoke.
You
Tell the
burn that.
environmentalists they can stuff it in this one
Yeah.
particular instance.
Feliz Navidad. Uh, let's see what other country would be good to look at. Um, Something that would be interesting
What
to
about
us.
Mexico? What about Mexico?
Mexico no está.
No.
They have the closest they have to Mexico is Guatemala.
Well, that's pretty close to Mexico, not going to lie, geographically speaking.
Yeah, but yeah, in Italy, for example, the Italians basically have their Father Christmas in Babbo Natale. Babbo Natale is the name of Father Christmas in Italy, but he's not the only one giving out gifts during the holiday season. La Befana, a benevolent witch-like figure on a broom, also takes to the skies on the eve of the Epiphany. La Befana's origin mixes paganism and religion, and has has had an impact on what, um, for example, she has links to the three wise men parable and the pre-Christian Roman festival of Saturnalia, according to Sky History. A municipality in the region of Marge has its own festival for La Befana in January. The whole area undergoes a complete transformation. Uh, uh, they call it a magical transformation, replete with sweets for children and some revelers dressed up as the famous witch. Christmas in Italy is also known for the distinct sound of zamponari, holiday bagpipers. According to Italy magazine, the zamponari, usually found in the region of Abruzzo, Basilicata, Campania,
Southern
Calabria,
Italy.
Molise, Puglia, and Lazio were traditionally shepherds residing in the mountains who went down to their town's market square to perform to earn extra cash. They are based on the legend that some of the shepherds who visited baby Jesus felt compelled to play their bagpipes. So that's kind of a little bit of Italy and what they're doing over there.
That's quite amazing. I actually do have some Mexican traditions to share with everybody, and one of them is probably something that people actually know about: the poinsettias. The poinsettias. The poinsettias. I'm
Yes,
mispronouncing that right now, but that's all right.
that one was on here. I did see that one around the in Mexico. It's called the what do they call? Hold on a second. You probably know already.
You're talking about Three Kings Day? We did mention January 6th. That's what it is called in Mexico. The Three
Okay,
Kings Day.
giving the poinsettias in Mexico, which
Here we
bloom
are.
in winter, are indigenous to Central America, specifically to southern Mexico, around Taxo del Alarcón and the state of Oaxaca. A Mexican legend tells of a girl who had nothing but a bunch of weeds to offer the baby Jesus at a Christmas Eve service. When she knelt to place the weeds by the Nativity, the bouquet burst into bright red flowers. Ever since then, the flowers, whose leaves are said to be shaped like the Star of Bethlehem, have been known as the Flores de Nochebuena, or flowers of the Holy Night, and have become synonymous with Christmas. So that's the tradition there in Mexico.
It is,
Uh,
and it's beautiful to see. You see those, and you instantly know that things have changed. Poland actually has a similar tradition with lights and flowers, and in Oaxaca they have an interesting tradition that they call the Night of the Radishes, where they carve radishes. They carve faces into radishes, and they make nativity scenes out of them. So very, very interesting. It's not just different countries actually that have Christmas traditions, different Christmas traditions. It's even different cities, regions. Everyone has their own thing going on for Christmas. So, get out there and explore it. The town over by you might have different traditions than you, for all you
yep,
know. Might not be too far away.
yep. So that's kind of a few of the traditions around the globe. It's always interesting to kind of delve outside of our circle and try to understand some of the other traditions. I know that in Germany, they do Christmas really big.
Yeah.
There's a town in southern Bavaria. It's the name of the town is Oberammergau, and there they have a live passion play that is staged right on the streets of the town, and it's one of the most famous in the world. And if you ever get a chance to go during Christmas, that's when everything is is portrayed there, and they're very big uh, on Christmas, and a lot of people don't understand, but the German people are very Christian.
Very.
They and they know how to celebrate. And we visited the town in the summer months, but you could still see all you know the way that the town is just portrayed and decorated even throughout the year. But then you get to see videos and photos of what takes place during the Christmas season, and that's really really impressive. I think what they do. But even in the big cities, when you're down there in Christmas time, the whole country lights up. I mean, it's a very very strong tradition there.
The German Christmas markets are absolutely beautiful. I actually took German class when I was a kid. Spanish class just felt a little bit, too easy at that point. I'm sure that a lot of Hispanic kids have had that experience. But taking German class, we actually took a field trip. Beautiful. Which we'll say real quick. We want to wish love and prayers to those in Germany who were attacked recently. So just what a terrible thing to attack people during Christmas. So we want to have prayers for the city of Magdeburg and all those who lost lives or were injured during this holiday season. There is still a misfortune during this time, but Christ wins anyways. That's what we have to say. Christ is born, and nothing anyone of evil can do can stop that from happening.
Yep. And just so you know, between now and January 6th, we intend to leave our Christmas decorations up here on the Hispanic Patriot podcast.
We very much do. It is not going to be, we are taking Christmas all the way. Make Christmas great again.
Yes. Going to be huge.
Huge.
All right. Well, we just wanted to drop in today on Christmas Eve and wish everyone, as you prepare for your celebrations tonight and tomorrow. I'll be speaking to my family in Peru tonight at midnight their time, which will be 10 o'clock here. They'll be gathering for the annual Christmas Eve supper, and then they open presents at midnight, and then they sleep in the next day.
That's a proud Christmas tradition right there. We
Yep.
will be attending midnight mass, traditional Latin mass, midnight mass. Hope to see some people there. Hope to see a lot of you there. Merry Christmas, everyone. We love you very much. We love Jesus very much. We appreciate his birth.
Yes, let's remember the reason for the season is the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Everything else is ancillary to that, but he doesn't begrudge us the ability to celebrate and engage in traditions that we all look near and dear to us and we love. Mostly Christmas is for the kids, the children, and I get a kick out of watching the children open their presents and enjoy the holiday. So, Merry Christmas, everyone, from all of us here at the Hispanic Patriot podcast. We wish you a very blessed and happy Christmas, and we extend a prayer to all those who are less fortunate, that we know that the Lord is with them, and we ask that you pray, and if you see someone in need, reach out and share. So until next time, we will bid you adieu and say Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.